Alright guys, what's up? We're back with another tackle tip for you. This afternoon I'm going to be going through with you some of my favourite knots. There's a million different knots all over the place, guys. I'm not saying these are any better than any of the others, but for me these are three of my favourites that I can guarantee will get you guys out of trouble and will cover everything you guys want to do in your fishing endeavours. So in no order at all, we'll start with the FG knot. The FG knot is a knot that I use to splice my line. So by splicing, what I mean is tying your leader line, so your fluorocarbon line, to your braid. So you want a nice strong knot. There's lots of knots that can do the job, but the FG knot is super strong and super thin, so it's not gonna like tick tick tick, like flick your eyelets on the way through. Number two is a uni knot. A uni knot is something that cinches down really quite tight. So if you're throwing crankbaits, if you're throwing lipless crankbaits, if you're throwing blades, you want to cinch that line right down tight to wherever you're tying onto. A uni knot is the way to go. And third but not least is the loop knot. So the loop knot is pretty much the opposite of a uni, and exactly what it sounds like. A loop knot is something that the knot stays above and there is a big loop in your line. So a loop knot is for something that I want my lure to be swimming a little bit more freely. So if I've got a hard connected point like a jig head, I've got no swivel, no nothing on that. So what I want is a loop to go through the eyelet of that jig head, so that jig head and the plastic can still be swimming quite just uninterruptedly through the water. So let's dive down. I've just picked out any random rod. I think I've got my, what have I got? I've got my Okuma Seros bait cast rod. I use it for jerk baits and stuff like that, usually when I'm chasing barra. On my Okuma Komodo reel, really excellent reel. It's a big boy reel, so I don't use this for bass. You can use it for bass, but I use it for barra. So I've got a 30-pound bionic braid on here, so I've just picked something with the thickest line that I could find around here at the moment. So I could give you guys half a chance at trying to check out exactly how I tie these knots and make it as easy as I can for you guys, because that's the whole point of this. I don't want it to be super difficult. These knots are not super difficult, guys. These are really simple knots. I know it's a little bit overwhelming at first, but it's like anything. You practice, you practice, you practice, and then you end up doing it in 2 seconds. So this is my interpretation of the knots. Like every knot, there is a few certain ways to go about it. These are the ways that I learned, and none of them have ever let me down yet. So touch wood. Let's dive down and I'll show you guys exactly how to tie them. Alright. This is going to be a little bit tricky for me to do, guys, but I'm going to try my best. So, here you've got your main line, your braid, and you have your leader line right here. So, you want to keep this main line a little bit tight. Usually I just use the weight of my rod to lean it over something, and that's all enough. But really important, this needs to stay just taut. Not super tight, but you don't want any slack in this. Now, these fingers, just hold the line, pinch it together like that, okay? This needs to stay on this to keep the knot in place while we're doing this. And literally all we're gonna do is go one over and one under. And then at the end of each one, you wanna pull. So you go over and just lightly pull the leader line like that, just so that this braid continues in a straight line. And under and pull. Over, under. So you want to repeat this process, guys, probably anywhere from up to, depending on how thick the line is. The thicker the line, the least amount of times you need to do this. I would probably say with this 30-pound main line and 20-pound leader, I'd still go maybe 30 times or something like that. Because it's really important. What you want to do what you're doing is you're wrapping this leader around this braid, because what's going to happen is that braid is going to cinch into this leader and create little notches, and that is what is actually going to help keep your line from slipping out. Alright, so now that we're here, this is what it should start to look like. It should start to look like a big line, nice and neat, no loose bits, no ugly bits, but that is basically where we're at. Now, make sure you pinch this. You don't want to let this go. I'm just going to cut this braid off where I've tied it from my camera. Now with the braid, this is a really important step. So this is going to lock everything we've just done in. You want to do a granny knot around that leader line, pull it straight through. Now I'm going to try and do this with my teeth, so bear with me. And cinch it down. So all we've done is we've got this braid, go around this leader line and straight back under. And now I can do this because I'm not trying to hold it, and it just cinches down over there, just like that. Okay, I like to do that 3 times, so I go one more for good luck. As I said, this is really hard to do because usually I use my teeth and I don't have a big camera in my way, so I'm doing my best here. 3. Now, those 3 granny knots are going to lock this knot in, so you don't need to hold that anymore. That's fine. Now what you want to do is you want to put this bit in your mouth, because you want to always keep your knots nice and lubricated. You want to put plenty of spit on here, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to heat the fluorocarbon up when you're cinching it down, and it's going to create weak spots, and that is what is going to fail when you hook onto a nice big fish. So I'm just going to put a little bit of spit on it. Alright, so put our spit on it. So now what we're going to do, this is the most important step that you do not want to miss. You have got your main line and the leader line. You want to hold these and you want to pull it. Pull those two together and you want to cinch. Cinch every bit of that down. Because if you don't cinch it down, that knot is going to pull through completely. So cinched it down nice and tight, so it's not going to pull out. Now, by pulling those 2 lines, you just put notches in here. So now what we want to do, fluorocarbon, we're done with this now. We want to trim this as close to the knot as we can. So I'm going to trim this down. Wait, let's just, before I make that knot, let's just make sure this is coming out where I want it to come out. That needs to go there, this needs to go here. Okay, cool. Bang. Cut that off. Right, now do a few more granny knots around here just to cover that tag end up. 1 and 2, and 1 more for good luck. 3. And then once we're done with that, we'll cut this, and you've got an FG knot. A little bit messy because I'm trying to do this behind a camera, but essentially if you follow all those steps, guys, that is the thinnest and strongest knot to splice your leader to your main line. Practice makes perfect. Okie dokie. We are back. So, this is what I was talking about when I say a uni knot. And what I mean is, if you've got this little swivel, this little split ring here, if you're tying something straight to that, that's the bit that is moving freely around that lure. So you can tie straight to this and the action of that lure is still going to be 100% exactly how it should be. Whereas if it didn't have this and you tied straight to this hard little point here without a split ring or without a loop knot, it may interfere with the actual action because you'll be pulling it one way or pulling it the other way and it's not swimming, or it's, you know, swimming freely. So these is when I like to run just a straight uni knot. Really simple. All you want to do, guys, get the eyelet, put the leader straight through the eyelet, as so. Okay, make a loop, literally this, just making a loop, just like that. So you've got these. You want to hold the loop, and you just want to go back through the loop, back over that main line. I usually do it about 5-6 times depending. Again, I usually do this in my teeth, so this is quite difficult. Alright, let's just go 3 for now. Spit, again, very important. And you just pull, like that. And then pull the main line back down, so it pulls straight on here. Bang. Look at that. Nice, neat uni knot. Cinches down, and then, again, trim the tag end off as low as you can. Nice and neat. There we have it. That's a uni knot, guys. I only did 3 knots. As I said, usually I go 5 to 6, but you guys get the picture. This is hard enough for me to do behind the camera for you guys to get a nice close-up photo. Alright guys, this is the loop knot. So this is the knot that I was saying that you want to tie to anything with a fixed point. So I use it on jigs, I use it on jig heads when I'm swimming plastics, anything that doesn't have a split ring or a swivel or anything. That way that loop in my line allows this bait to swim completely free of any obstruction. So all we're going to do is create, actually I'm going to put this over here. All we're going to do is create a loop in the line, which is exactly that. You just loop straight over itself, so that little circle is in your line right there. Then you want to loop the leader straight through the bait like that. This is important. You want to come back through that loop. Okay? Back through the loop, pull that down. Now, doesn't need to be a massive loop, just enough. Maybe a little bit smaller than the tip of your finger. That is what you want to pinch with your left hand, or whatever hand you're tying it with. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do this with my left. So now what you want to do, after you've made that loop, you've gone back through that loop, what you want to do is you want to go around the rest of this line. So 1, not through the loop, just around the line. 2, 3, I'm just going to go 3 for this video. Usually I go 4 or 5. After you've looped it back over that line, to finish it off, go back through the loop that you came through initially, put a little bit of spit, spit's on there. Now what you want to do is you want to pull, but you want the top loop to pull tight first. Basically that bottom loop you want to pull last. Sometimes it gets a little bit caught up on this jig head, and again, trying to do it from this angle, quite hard. Okay, so this is what you want to do. Pull it, and then I like to pull the main line a little bit. I do like to keep this part in my teeth though, because it's a little bit of a handful trying to do it with your fingers. But basically, you just want to slowly cinch that line back down on itself. I'm just going to pull it with my teeth. Hang on, guys. Okay. And there we have it. That is a loop knot. See this little loop in the line? that is going to let this swim freely. However, basically you've just done like, it's just a uni knot, but you've tied it up here. Rather than the point being down here, you've created a loop knot up here. So essentially, it's basically very similar to the uni, except that's where the knot point is, not down there. Really easy. And then again, cut this tag end off, and there you have it. That is a perfect loop knot for your jigs, jig heads, anything, so that can keep on swimming freely. Alright, well that wraps things up. Hopefully you guys have a bit more insight on some of the knots that you can use in your fishing. As I said, there is lots more knots out there that you guys can learn. These three are pretty much the only three that I use. The FG is the only one that I will use to splice my line. The uni knot is the only knot that I will tie onto my crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, blades, jerk baits, whatever. And a loop knot's the only thing I tie around my jigs and my jig heads and harder point things that you want to keep a nice slap bit in your line. So, as I said, you guys can take it or leave it. They're my favourite. If it helped you at all, make sure you tell me in the comments below. Let me know if you want to ask any questions, or if you didn't quite understand how to tie some of the knots. Shoot me a message, guys. I will try and get back to you as quick as I can. But make sure if you liked this video, give me the thumbs up, guys, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. That way I can keep on bringing videos like this to you guys. While you're there, jump over to my Facebook and Instagram, Keeghan Painter Fishing. Follow me over there and see what's up. Guys, it's quarantine times right now, right? 2020, start of 2020, coronavirus. Learn how to tie knots, redo all of your tackle. That way, when all of these lockdown bans are lifted, we can all go get fishing and we can enjoy some quality catching. Am I right? Yeah! Alright guys, that's it from me. Enjoy. See you later.